All Access Music News.
At you at Do Cafe, and boy do we have a southern fried treat for y'all tonight. It's my good friend.
I ain't saying nothing, but it's Doug Gray and Marshall Tucker Band, and we are sitting on the couch, and she don't know how lucky she is that we are just sitting here together, because we're going to be here for quite a while, even after the camera's off.
Anyway.
Okay.
So, let's see. I'm going to start off. You know, we saw somewhere that your logo. Tell us about your logo. It's really big.
It's one of the top, largest, most recognized logos in the world.
And how did that happen?
Well, we don't have a clue, except for the fact that Rolling Stone and other people like that pick out all of the main ones that have the most recognizable image. And it was us, AC/DC, and Kiss, and people like that. And anybody goes to RollingStone.com can see it. But it made us really, really happy. We already knew the logo was good because it sells merchandise. Everybody wears them, and all these movie stars want to license the thing so that they can wear the shirts and jogging and stuff like that. So it works out really good. So it's quite a feat. And we designed that logo ourselves. We just used two different kinds of script, and so we designed it back in 1974.
I know. I always try with my little ink, you know, those little fountain ink pens with the little crushy thing. I used to try to write like that, and going, how do they do that?
It was two different styles, and then we changed one other style so that it would make it almost. You can copy it, and you take shots of it, and of course,
that's how it turned out. So tell me about there's something about it was scratched on a piano, the name, and how they got the Marshall Tucker Band.
Okay, well, we were working during our day jobs, and we decided that we would rent a warehouse space. And when we did rent the warehouse space, there was a key. On the key, there was a tag that said Marshall Tucker Band. And it didn't say band, it said Marshall Tucker. And on that tag, we rehearsed there for right at a year, and a promoter came up and said, we want you to open for the Almond Willie and Jimmy Hall Willie Band. And we said, okay, you know, what should we call ourselves? And we didn't want to go back to any of the three names that we had been before, betting on, and then we got back. So we decided that we would sit there and come up with something. Well, we didn't. Someone was slinging the key around and just moving it around like this. And somebody said, well, hell, let's just call it Marshall Tucker Band for the weekend. Marshall Tucker is a blind piano tuner who still lives in Columbus, South Carolina. He just recently retired from 40 years of being a church choir director. But he is a blind piano tuner that had used that space months before we did. And it still had the key on it and had the tag on it as well as Marshall Tucker. So 43 years later, here we are.
And 43 years ago, you were somebody that was kind of unknown, and you opened for the Allman Brothers, and wow, and now look. So that brings me to, is that kind of who you were influenced by, or what were you doing before that?
Oh, me? I worked in a bank.
You worked in a bank? Yeah. Doing what?
I was kind of like the collector person.
Ooh.
Well, I had just got back from Vietnam, and several of the guys in the band went to Vietnam, and we got back. But what really had went on before that is we had had bands since high school and junior high, and we all kind of filtered out what we were going to do. And so when I came back from the war, I decided I'd go work. And the first job that I was offered was doing that job at the bank. It was a huge job. The funny part about it is the same day that I got offered a contract for the Marshall Tucker Band to go with Bill Capricorn Records for our first record, I got offered my own position in Atlanta at home bank.
And you chose between the two, and you chose to be a
I think it's pretty
self-evident
right now, and it turned out to be really good. And so I'm proud that we were able to start it.
Wow. So you guys have sold millions and millions of albums. You've delighted and entertained, and you've been the canvas of the music backdrop for thousands of people's soundtracks of their life. Making all that up.
Yeah, so
anyway, it's true, and
a lot of bands have followed us. I mean,
so many.
Zach Brown does our song every night.
Yeah.
That's my nephew, Clay Cook.
Is it really?
The little short guy that's in there.
Yeah.
That's got some great.
That's your nephew.
That's my nephew.
That's his nephew.
And then we opened for Kid Rock last year and Zach Brown, and so you never know where we're going to show up. And the reason for it is because we decided to play. I'm not going to take a weekend off. And I'm 66 years old in a month, so I'm not about to start now.
And he can still fit into his military uniform.
I
saw that. Yes, I did.
Actually, I've lost more weight since then.
Skinnier. Yeah.
I did. And,
I noticed that.
I was not intending to do that. That was a bet with my daughter.
I saw it, yeah.
And so she couldn't believe it, so she had to buy lunch. And then I just decided, well, if I'm going to go for it, I'll go for it a little bit more. And so I did, without changing anything drastic. Nothing's wrong. It's just one of those things that I just decided to do.
And you did it.
And it worked. 38 pounds later.
So let's go back. I want to go back to the old days, even though the new days are, I mean, this is just...
Right.
It's amazing what you're doing now. I noticed you like the blues, because I saw you do a little bit of that.
We do everything. See, I was influenced, basically, one of my first bands was a band that would copy James Brown and other groups like that. So we were a copy band doing James Brown and groups, Louie and all those other kind of things. So you got to think back 40, 50 years, okay? I would go to jazz festivals and listen to Wes Montgomery and Spire Gyra, people like that, and D.R. Moore was the headliner at the time. So I got to listen to stuff like that, and that's where my musical influence came from, and B.B. King. Ended up, I had B.B. King on several shows with us. That worked out.
He's still going too.
Oh, he's going good. We play every holiday. Our last show that we do every year is at B.B. King's.
Really?
And we decided that was going to be it for every holiday.
Oh, that's become a tradition. You know, speaking of Christmas, you've done a Christmas album.
Yeah.
And that was pretty good. Now, didn't you have some gospel songs on there? Did you do any gospel?
One of our first 6 records, we had a gospel song on each one. Most people didn't realize that's what it was, okay?
You snuck it in.
But it was there. And then we decided, somebody said, why don't you go back and write some stuff or put some other standard stuff out, and we did. That's been 17 years that we did since we did that. And so we just finally put them out. And then I recorded a rhythm and blues soul record myself, with Memphis horns and Michael Bolton stuff, and it was before Michael Bolton was a hit. And so I did that 1980, and then we put those songs up. We have something like 300 pieces of music in the catalog, in a storage vault that we haven't yet brought out, just to keep things going. We put stuff out forever, and Sony is our distributor, so we are the record company, and we put them out.
Well, you guys are certainly, it's just, you're the pinnacle of Southern rock.
We're the rednecks of Southern.
Oh, and it's sweet. And you know something, it's like a lot of people, and that's why I wanted to go back to the old days, a lot of people, especially like me, in my generation, but that generation back then, they were all the Hendrix, acid rock, all this rock stuff, and all of a sudden, this Southern sound was creeping in. Mm-hmm. And when I think about it, I always think it was Marshall Terry. I don't really like. I never liked country, but I forgive you guys because you're so good and I love it.
We changed it
And
around.
it's just it's different what you do.
We changed it around enough to where we hit all those different spots. And we don't have to, we did it then, and then even when we got popular, we would still come up with a real country sound. And we get played on country music. Garth Brooks, when he got this song Walk Outside the Line, we flew to Texas and I videoed that here, made it on CMT, did the whole thing, but it was his song. And it's a song called Walk Outside the Line, and it was a two-step. Nobody even realized that was us doing that at the time. But that's good, he did.
Love them two steps. Well, something else was that, what was I going to say? You know, the other thing that was so special about the Marshall Tucker Band, to me, and I know a lot of other people too, is that you were always so connected with fans. You were so always yourselves. You were always so genuine. I'll never forget, Sam Houston Coliseum was a big place here. You remember Sam Houston Coliseum? And I was 14 years old, and me and my friend, they said, oh my God, Marshall Tucker Band is coming. And then they had the little ropes, and you guys walked up off the bus, and I remember you. And you were like, oh my God, it's the Doug Gray shook my hand. And like, here I am, talking to you.
See, you know, it was the fact that you wanted to be there. And people that want to be there is always more we accept them more. When you run into somebody like that you don't know, if you don't put your hand out and shake their hand, then you're making a big mistake. And so that's why we still have the friends and the family. And a lot of people out here tonight that some of them own truck dealerships and car dealerships and large businesses, and they come out to see us because they grew up with us, just like you did. And it's for the memory thing. And so, you know, and also I got to tell you this for the old and the new fan, is we never do the same show twice, ever.
Really?
We haven't in the last 11 years.
So you change your set list? And
don't even, it's the same set list. It'll be the same piece of paper. It's been done it for 11 years, but I always change it. And the reason that I change it is to make it more interesting for the crowd, because you got to fill up the crowd. Most people forget what it's supposed to be about. It's about making understanding of each other instead of just making it for yourself. Anybody can stand up and do their 3-minute popular song, but we don't live off of that.
So let me ask you that: Do you have your followers, that people that follow you around, and you know they go to all your shows and they go, oh, and they write about what did you do? You know, the Doobie Brothers have a fan club. You know about, I'm in that.
Right.
Anyway.
Well, they're on the cruise with us.
Oh yes, I know. I saw that. Yeah, they're friends. Say hi to Pat for me. But anyway, it's good because you know it's not always the same thing, and that must be really fun for the people that go to a lot of the shows to see something different.
Well, it's, you know, when people do drive 200 miles, 400 miles, or 500 miles, or come from Alaska to fly in and wants to see something, they say, well, I didn't get to hear that, my favorite song. So if I happen to see them, I might, for some reason, I don't know why, but I might remember that favorite song that they come up with. And it's unusual. And everybody says that I'm crazy, how do I do it? But it's like some kind of circus act. You know, I got it going on like that. You know, it's some kind of circus act, you know. It's like, I can guess your weight for 50 cents.
You don't do that, please.
No. But it's truly a strange thing. You know what we did with a fan club? So our fan club got really, really big. And people changed and they wanted their fan club, their memberships to be transferred over to their kids and stuff. So what we did is we just decided that we would not have a fan club, but we would have everybody be a part of our fan club.
Oh,
and if somebody wanted a dedication or something, I mean, I have 2 Facebook pages myself. One you can't get on, the other one you can. But then you got the Marshall Tucker Band that you go to that I don't operate that one. That's, I don't think, a million people or something like that. But and I don't go there. But the emails come into there, come to me, like we're going to be at the show tonight, 2 brothers that saw you 40 years ago or whatever. And they end up getting on the special guest list to come backstage and do an early meet and greet.
Yeah. guys do a lot of that, and that's really not that. You know what? Just that shaking the hand thing means so much
Well,
to people who connect with the music and they love it.
The Doug Hug thing is a real popular deal too, because we've raised a lot of money from the Native American Heritage Association, and that goes directly to them. And they make T-shirts up like on the boat when we go out on the Rock Legends cruises, and I donate all of that money. They make the T-shirt off. I got my Doug Hug. Last time it was over 250 people, and we're all standing on the boat with our Doug Hug shirt on. And I mean, there's pictures on the website.
Oh, I thought I was so special. You just give everybody that Doug hug. Huh? Well, it is a special hug.
Well, it is.
It's just so sweet.
It's pretty funny.
That is just so cool. Well, you know what? You got a lot of people out there waiting for you tonight. You know that.
We're ready to go.
Houston loves their Marshall Tucker. Oh my gosh.
We'll get down to 24 hours at a time before it's all.
24 hours. I cannot wait to see the show tonight. We are so glad that you took the time to be on.